Oh, we're here now. We're back. And we have a very special guest with us today. Yes. And I want you to know that Danielle Bowman, who is our guest, I had an intro that I wrote, and I sent it to her, and she added to it. She beefed it up, because you have a lot of accomplishments, Dani. Dani is a 17-year-old animator with her own animation company that she started when she was 11 years old, who is on the autism spectrum. And Dani teaches animation at Joey Travolta's Inclusion Film Camps, which we know all about Joey's camps. She's illustrated 2 books, Dani and Goliath and Richie and Goliath, which our sons happen to love. And she's working on other books at the moment. She premiered 2 animated shorts, Mr. Raindrop and the Namazu at San Diego Comic-Con. And now she's also traveling to Ohio this week to teach animation at Ohio Center for Autism and Low Incidence Ocali at Columbus, Ohio. Wow, what a resume. Welcome, Dani.
Yes, well, thank you so much for sending me into the channel. I'm so excited.
Well, we're excited to have you here.
It's thrilling to have you here.
Now, we first met you through Inclusion Films that Joey Travolta runs, and you have been working there for some time, right?
Why, thanks.
Yeah. So tell us how you got started in doing animation.
Okay, then. I started my own animation company when I was about 6 years old, and by using MS Paint, Adobe Photoshop, and PowerPoint presentations. This is all that, excuse me, I need to rephrase it.
That's okay, dear.
Take your time.
This is all that was available to me at that time.
Okay.
I also used to do stop motion with a home camera. And when I moved to my aunt and uncle's house when I was 11 years old, they are pretty amazed of what I could do with those programs.
I bet.
And so they started me on Toon Boom Animation, and I've been upgrading ever since. I told my aunt and uncle when I was 11 that I wanted to start my own animation company, and with their help of my company was officially launched at age 14.
Yeah, what an amazing array of accomplishments. So now you're 17 years old, and we were talking about Dani the other day and how incredible you are, but we were trying to voice it's a specific kind of animation that you do, right? What kind of animation is it that you do?
Well, I mainly do digital animation. With the animation package I use is called Toon Boom Studio 7. I can also work on different animations such as traditional animation, stop motion, and CG animation like the ones on Autodesk Maya.
Pretty incredible. It's all over my head.
This is like another language to us, Dani. Shannon and I aren't up to speed on all this, but you're clearly just so well educated in this area, and you've got so many talents in this area. Now, you illustrated with animation 2 books. Dani and Goliath was the first one, correct? And Dani and Goliath is about a little boy named Dani who is being bullied, and he meets a great little bull, a young bull named Goliath, who helps him. And then Richie and Goliath is about a sea turtle who also meets up with Goliath, and he was being bullied. And how can you tell us about these books and the theme and how this kind of came about?
Yeah, indeed. So it came up like this. Joey and his friend Richard Welch always wanted to produce the book series together. And when Joey and I met, he got the idea to go with the books and allowed me to illustrate them. Joey and I were always like to be involved in the anti-bullying campaigns. And thank you for just talking about the books. I think you just got a little mixed up on the first book. Like Goliath was bullied when he was in the first book. Goliath was, as a calf, was bullied by the other bulls, and he met a boy named Dani who also felt the same way, and together became friends, and together face to face against the bullies and deal with them.
That's correct.
Yep.
I did forget that aspect, that the bull, little Goliath, was also bullied, and as I recall, instead of going like a big bull sound like boo, he went meow.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, indeed. I heard about that.
And then when when Goliath met Dani and he started to defend Dani against the boy bully at school, all of a sudden he let out a big boo and scared that bully away.
Yeah, indeed.
And taught him that it's really not cool to bully, right?
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, do you think a lot of young people on the autism spectrum get bullied?
I think so, especially with me on schools, including high school, like locking you out of Flint Ridge,
Yes.
locking you out of high school.
Yeah.
Did you get bullied some? dear?
Sometimes I do, but verbally, the boys just verbally bully me, but not physically bully me.
Okay. And how did that make you feel?
I felt like very upset and I felt like I just want revenge against them.
It's really hard to experience.
But then you're such a talented, beautiful young woman. I bet you had a lot of friends too that really cared for you and really thought that wasn't cool for you to be bullied. And I bet you do have a lot of friends and family that are very proud of you.
My thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I certainly, you know what, if you were my daughter, I would be so proud of you.
I would too. I'm sure anybody would be proud of you.
No
Doing
problem.
An awesome job. And then did you decide to do the second book just because the first one was so well received, or you had such a good time?
I think Joey Travolta just wanted me to work on this book. It's just his idea.
Okay.
But you liked the idea. Yeah.
Indeed.
Is it fun for you to illustrate books, children's books?
Of course, and it's kind of a little bit more on the, let me see, what do you call that? A little boring at first, but now then it just gets a lot more fun.
Yeah. And you got fans too. When we saw you at the Autism Walk, that was the first time that I got to meet you. You were at a booth and you were drawing, and there were kids who were coming up who had read your books. Is it fun for you to meet kids who've read your books?
Of course, it's a lot fun, especially signing the books for them.
Yeah, I would bet that is.
Yeah, I mean, you're really a celebrity now.
I thank you.
Yeah, so you're out there signing books and meeting people that have read them, and you're a noted illustrator now. I mean, you're getting famous, Dani.
Why, thank you.
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break because we want to come back and find out about some of the other projects that you might be doing and the fact that you're teaching.
Yes.
And in the new intro you gave me, I see you've worked on a lot of, you've premiered 2 animated shorts.
I want to hear about Comic-Con, what Comic-Con was like, but we're going to take a break first.
Yeah, we're going to take a break, and we'll talk in between the break. And when we come back, we're going to ask you some more questions.
Oh, why, thank you so much. I just can't wait to answer more.
Okay, Dani, we'll be right back.
Welcome back.
We are here with Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy, and our special guest, Dani Bowman, who is a 17-year-old animator. And Dani has her own animation company. She started when she was 11 years old. Dani is on the autism spectrum. She teaches animation at Joey Travolta's Inclusion Films. And we were just talking about her 2 books, Dani and Goliath and Richie and Goliath, that she illustrated. And people can get these books on Amazon, Dani, Amazon?
That's right, and also on my website at parlay-studios.com and their website called Pick a Lot of Kids.
Okay. PowerlightStudios.com and Pick a Lot of Kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also on Amazon.
Okay, and you're also working on a new book. What's that called?
I think the new book is called Rajalika by Elizabeth McCaw, and I just finished doing the illustrations, but it's not officially published yet.
Okay.
But it will be sooner or later.
Okay. And is there a Christmas Carol story that you're working on?
Yes, it's my original story, and I just got it finished as a rough draft, and I just printed out for people during the holiday time.
Okay.
Very fun. I'd
All
like
right,
to see that.
that's going to be
That's awesome.
great.
And it's special for Parlay Animation Studios fans.
Okay, very cool. Now I want to know, because I think the Inclusion Films camp, you just did a camp
For military children down in San Diego.
Yes, and you're a teacher. What is that like, teaching for Inclusion Films?
What is it like teaching Inclusion Films? It makes me feel like I'm the teacher here, and I'm so.
Do you like it?
Yeah, of course. I'm so glad to be the teacher. Very proud of myself.
What do you like about it? What's really fun about it for you teaching?
Okay, what I really like about teaching animation to people on the spectrum is being able to teach other kids or young adults on the spectrum and watch them when they realize that they could do it.
Oh, yeah, I can see where that would be really cool.
Yeah, do you find when you're teaching, Dani, that a lot of kids really don't know they have talent and then they learn they do?
That's right. They just really liked it.
Good. Did you have any important teachers in your life?
In my life, I do have important teachers, especially from La Cañada High School and also from outside of school, including Art Center of College of Design, Armory, at an old Pasadena and Woodbury University,
Okay.
and Summer Creative Workshop at Loyola Marymount University, and right now I'm going to attend at CalArts.
Oh, CalArts. So there are, I think you're hearing there are a lot of resources. If you have a child on the spectrum that has talent, like Dani does, and my son is very artistic, and I would love for him to follow in the footsteps that you have taken. So I think there's a lot of resources for parents and for kids to explore, because you've found places that welcome you with open arms and that have really helped you learn this craft, haven't you, Dani?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
You know who we had on about a week ago? We had Deborah Hussaini from the Art of Autism, and she was talking about you too, because that's another organization that you do things with as well, the Art of Autism, right?
Yeah, and I have known her, and I also known Carrie Bowers.
Yes, Carrie, whose son did the film Normal People Scare Me.
Right.
So a wonderful, wonderful group of people and great work that they do. But I'm interested, Dani, you know, people don't know enough about autism. You have high functioning autism. What would you like for everybody to know about what it's like to have autism?
I think it is true. Having autism can be a big challenge for everyone if they're diagnosed with autism, especially the obstacles you have to face, such as learning social skills, dealing fears of the sounds, or snapping out of daydreaming. But the bright side is you will find a higher chance to find your talent. And also, don't forget that we are all different.
Absolutely.
And there's one thing. When you meet one person who has autism, you met one person on the spectrum. We are so different, and we also have different challenges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like all of us as human beings, Dani, are so different.
Yeah.
And all human beings have different challenges. And I hope that people that are watching today are realizing just what a remarkable young lady you are and the talent you have. And it would be such a shame if that talent was hidden from the world. And I think by you being here today, I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to watch you and they're going to get inspired by you. You know what I mean? They're going to say, if she can do it, I can do it.
Wow, and I'm just so excited.
Yeah, and maybe there might be some parents out there that are watching today that have, say, a child younger than you. You know, I'm even thinking about my son Wyatt. He's 10, and his talent is so great. I would love for him to be just like you at your age.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm interested. You mentioned daydreaming as something that happens sometimes. Do you feel like you daydream a lot, and is that where some of your ideas come from?
I daydream a lot to get a lot of ideas, but the drawback is my Aunt Sandy and Uncle Patrick wants me to get out of daydreaming because it feels like it makes me lack of social skills and make people think I'm strange or weird. But like I said, nobody's perfect.
Right. Nobody is perfect.
But do you get some of your ideas from when you daydream?
Yeah, I do get some ideas.
Okay.
And
for your books and for your animation. Yeah, I'm sure that daydreams are important for all of us. I know it's hard to control sometimes. But we all like to daydream, you know, and that's where a lot of our creativity comes from. And you're a very creative person.
Why, thank you so much.
Okay, so we talked about what you would like people to hear about having autism. Is there any way that if you're talking to people now that are listening that are typical as opposed, neurotypical. They're not on the autism spectrum. Is there ways that those of us that aren't on the autism spectrum can be more understanding, more helpful? How could we do that?
I think helping us and understanding our lack of social skills would be a great, like for example, you see, if my schoolmates would see me by myself, maybe they could come and talk with me. We don't mean to be rude and or strange. We just don't know how to be social. But most of us really want to fit in just like everyone. And it would be pretty good if we could learn some small talk because we don't understand small talk.
And friends can help you to learn that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you have friends, a lot of friends in your world today, in your life today?
Yeah, mostly outside of high school. Because I don't really have much neurotypical friends in La Cañada High School, but I do have a lot of classmates.
Right. And so mostly outside of high school, in the world, in your art world, and people you meet.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Is it a large school that you go to, Dani?
Yes, La Cañada High School is pretty big.
Okay.
And are you going to be a senior this year? What grade are you in?
I just finished 11th grade, which is my junior year, and now I'm just moving on to senior.
Okay.
Very exciting.
And what do you want to do when you graduate from high school?
When I graduate from high school, I'm trying to go find the best university, and then I just have to keep doing more and more and more school over the years till I get every last of schools finished, and including graduate school, which means I'll be a graduate school student, and then move on with my own animation company.
And what type of animation do you want to do? If you were to say, if you could have any dream you wanted of anybody you could be or any type of person you could be, there's no limit, to this dream right now. Who would you like to be and what would you like to be? I'm not going to put words in your mouth. You tell me what you would like to accomplish in your life.
What I really like to accomplish in my life is, well, your question also means what your future plans is.
That's right. That's exactly it. So what are your future plans?
My animation company, Parlay Animation Studios, will become huge like Walt Disney's animation studio or like Nickelodeon's animation studio. It's going to be pretty big. And however, I plan to include mostly people on the spectrum because I know how amazing we can do. My life's goal is to change the world's perception of autism and show the potential that autistic individuals like me have. Hopefully, we could produce some great animated features together.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
I have a feeling that you just might be the next big studio out there.
I think so.
And some of these, and animation is so popular today, obviously. I think there's a great market for it. You're a great talent. You know how to teach. And if anybody's out there listening that maybe, might want to fund Dani someday or take her in under their arm. And
Produce a film?
let's produce a movie. What are your favorite animated movies?
My favorite animated movies I really like, I just like some Pixar films. I like Pokemon movies. I like some animated films from UK like Romeo and Juliet.
I love that.
You love that film.
That was a good film.
I do. My son Wyatt loves that film too.
And I also like one type of film called Rango, which won for Best Animated Feature.
That was a great, great animated movie.
Now, what is Spark Action, Dani?
Spark Action is a contest that allows people to do the speech to help out their animation, to help out their company in general.
Okay.
And I just won the California Youth Innovation Award.
Wow, that's pretty exciting.
Which this award helps me to hire people on the spectrum.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Well, congratulations for winning that. I have one more question for you. I love the title of your company, Power Light. Did you come up with that?
Of course I did.
And why? What about Power and Light? Why did you want to make that the name of your company?
Power Light, I just got it in my head, and there was a commercial inside, a flashlight commercial, while I was it's very personal.
Oh, okay. We don't want to, tread on that. If it's personal, that's a good thing to say.
It's the personal thing I just learned about Parlay Animation Studios name. It just comes from my game system name, my game system username.
Oh, okay.
When I used to have a Nintendo DS with me, and I just used to call myself Volt Girl, and I changed my name to Powerlight. I named it after my Nintendo DS username.
Okay.
Okay, that
Very
makes
cool.
sense. That makes sense.
Very cool.
Now, are you teaching any more this summer? Yeah,
Teaching more. I'm just teaching more.
Yeah.
Like you talked about, and I am talking about right now, is called the animation. It's a film camp in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, when will that be?
This next weekend.
Very good.
Weekend. Okay.
I said next week.
Okay.
Next week. Okay.
Very cool.
So you'll be working with Joey Travolta and Inclusion Films, and you're going to be in Ohio teaching animation. And I'm sure if they go to the Inclusion Films website.
But this time the animation camp is only going to be just about Parlay Animation Studios. It's going to be the first time ever Parlay Animation Film Camp.
So
All
on
right.
your own film camp instead
So
of
it's your
Inclusion Films.
own
That's
film
pretty
camp.
exciting.
That is very exciting. Very, very
And we
exciting.
didn't ask about Comic-Con. Did you have a
yeah.
good time at Comic-Con?
Of course it is. When I first get inside the convention, I just looked in my eyes. It's really huge.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've never been. Was that your first time going?
It's my first time going to the convention.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you see any great characters that you'd always, heard about?
I see a lot of cosplays, and there's lots of good stuff. Like there's Hasbro section, Nintendo section. There are all kinds of costumes and some comic book booths.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That must have been really fun for you. I can imagine.
Very exciting. Dani, thank you so much for being with us. You've been so wonderful, and I'm so inspired by your story and the work that you do, and I know that it's inspiring to a lot of people out there watching.
Yeah, we're going to keep a watch on you, Dani. We're going to be following your career, staying in touch with you, and
cheering you on.
Cheering you on, because you're such a talent. You're such a delightful young woman, and we wish you nothing but the best of success. And we know your goal of inspiring people on the spectrum and showing the world what they're capable of. You're going to achieve that. I have no doubt.
With my pleasure. You're welcome.
Okay, sweetie.